family forever. Your family forever. The lovers of Biafra. Biafra. This is the time we need to come together.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to this broadcast today. You are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 1. You are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra live streaming app. You are watching live and direct on YouTube. You are watching live and direct on other social media platforms. Today, we are here to brief you some of the updates. And today we are going to have a very special guest in our midst in the name of Dr. Allen. Dr. Allen is here to brief us and give Biafrans update about what is going on with the ICC, what is going on in international community, in addition to what other attorneys of the IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, are doing, the BB, the BWGG group that is now battling or is about to battle the Nigeria state at the International Criminal Court. Today they have come to give us update. Fortunately, we were supposed to have Jeff. Jeff was supposed to be here as well. At this point, we have at least Dr. Allen. We have Dr. Allen White to give us this update today. And some of you who may want to ask questions, you may, we have very limited time. You may have time to ask your questions concerning the filing the application to the International Criminal Court against the Nigeria state. So I am going to, for those of you watching from Facebook, you know how we normally do it. So I'm going to switch over. Sandra Ogoy, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate you. I'm going to switch over now. For those of you from Facebook, please go to Enter Biafra Channel 1. Go to Enter Biafra Channel 1. Enter Biafra live streaming app. Go to YouTube and other platform where we are streaming live, because Facebook, I don't know, even when in this broadcast now, I have tried to see if I would come in with the Facebook to announce, at least announce the that we are live, but unfortunately, we did not see that the live program is being streamed on Facebook. I don't know why. So even though we have quite a good number of people watching now, so what you have to do now is switch over to Enter Biafra Channel 1. See you there and be part of this program. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. This is live broadcast, the 5th day of November 2021. And we call it the Historic Eve Day, or let's call it the Historic Eve, Election Eve, the Ghost Election Eve, or something like that. We are demanding the unconditional release of Mazi. We are demanding referendum. We are demanding release of all agitators that has been abducted, that has been kidnapped, that is now in the dungeon of the DSS and other security agents in Nigeria. We are demanding the release of all IPOB members that are being detained unjustly, illegally. We demand their unconditional release. Of course, if they wish, we are also demanding the proscription of indigenous people of Biafra before at least before we transit to the referendum of Biafra. Let me make it very clear for those of you who don't understand what we are saying. What we are saying is that the election in Anambra will not hold until Mazi is released. We appreciate those who have come to make it clear. The leadership, we appreciate them. But the people of Biafra, from what have happened today, decided already on their own that they are going to send a very strong signal to the international community. The signal to the international community is that it is referendum or no election. Let me tell you, we can't be afraid. We can't be afraid at the same time looking for the freedom and self-determination and emancipation of our people from Janjaweed people in Nigeria. We cannot, out of fear, be agitating for freedom of our people. We must be very brave. We must be ready to take anything that comes on our way. We must be ready to liberate and fight to the end. Not going to mind whatever the Nigerian is liable for the fact that the world understand what we are fighting for. Biafra issue is in global history. Is in global history. Biafra is issue that is globally recognized. We fought a war for 3 years with Nigeria. Millions of people died. Today, the children of those people, they're subjugated to all manner of degrading treatment and abuse. We are here today to finish what our grandfathers started. We are here today because when Nigeria war was declared, no victor, no vanquish. War was won by Daniel Effiong. If you do not do them very well, they will rise up again against you. That is exactly what we are doing now. It does not matter whether the Nigerian government is labeling themselves terrorists. The world know that we are not terrorists. The world know we are fighting a just cause. And we are going to do everything to make sure we get our freedom. As I'm talking to you, war going in Cameroon against Amazonians. As I'm talking, between South Sudan and Sudan, they fought war for 30 good years. They were not regarded as terrorists. Even the people that were regarded as terrorists in Afghanistan, we see that America is giving them today to be recognized as a government. The condition is only for them to denounce Al-Qaeda. After decades, many years of wastage, America's soldiers killed, billions of dollars wasted, American weapons and everything in the hand of Taliban. Upon the fact that Taliban and Afghanistan is ranked #1 terrorist country according to World Terrorism, Global Terrorism Index. But it is completely a different thing when it comes to Biafra. When it comes to Biafra, we are being ruled by terrorist government. We are being ruled by some few people from ethnic group that are nomadic and very heartless people. And we say we are incompatible. We don't have the same cultural value system. And we say we are going to opt out of Nigeria. And for that reason, they proscribe us. Now we have been able to create awareness, global awareness, under the leadership of Mazi, the highest awareness in history of mankind, especially in freedom and agitation for self-determination. Biafra agitation have that scattered all over the world. We are scattered all over the world. We will continue the struggle. We will continue the struggle. We will not be moved. We will not be threatened. We will not be intimidated by any threat coming from anywhere. So when you are in this struggle, the only thing you have to focus is getting Biafra. Do not be afraid of that you are being called a terrorist. You are not a terrorist. You are not a terrorist. And the world knows that. The world knows that. If we go into civil war today against Nigeria state, which probably may happen, if we go into civil war against Nigeria state for Biafra, who is going to call each other terrorists? Is it you? Are you going to be the one that will call terrorists or the Nigeria government? So, welcome to this program. Make sure you invite people and let us welcome. Now we are going to start what we have come to do this evening. We read in the news that the United States is giving a statement about Anambra election. They want to see free and fair election in Anambra. How can you have free and fair election in Nigeria where you have over 34,000 policemen being deployed to kill our people? How are you going to have free and fair election in Anambra? Before we can talk about having free and fair election in Anambra, since we are going political solution, first of all, Anambra state must be demilitarized. All the military and security people in Anambra state must leave. You can't militarize a state and you want to have democracy take place. Two of them can never work together. So when you want to conduct election, if going to have a democratic or political solution, make sure that there is nothing in this life that will make election tomorrow to take place, because we need to postpone the election so that the leadership will go back to drawing board. The demand will be very clear. You cannot have a free and fair election when you have police and army everywhere, considering the record of the Nigeria police and the security agents. Very, very bad record. You can never have free and fair election. So, Mazi should be released. After that, After the release of Mazi Kanu, whatever he say is final. Whatever he say about Anambra election, final. So we demand also the release of all the people that have been abducted and kidnapped by the Nigeria DSS. They are today languishing in prison and incarcerated. We are going to ask our guests to come in. So we'll continue because after him, we are going to have the normal exposition today. Make sure you hit the like button as you are coming. Those of you watching from YouTube, as you are coming, you are hitting the like button so that other people will understand that we are live and it will appear on their feed. Those who are using YouTube, who are watching from YouTube. Wait for Dr. Allen to join us. And on this note, let us go on commercial. Right, welcome back, welcome back. Dr. Allen, good afternoon from here.
Good afternoon, Simon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. This is the second time you are coming to the program. Welcome you again. You have been here before. May have seen you. A lot of people may have read about you. If you could tell us just a little bit brief about yourself for those who have never seen you before.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, I'm a partner of the VW Global Group based in Washington, D.C., and we specialize in human rights issues, crimes against humanity, some government relations, and anti-corruption work worldwide. I have over 40 years criminal investigative law enforcement experience, principally involved in international activities. My last assignment before I retired from the U.S. government, I was on loan to the United Nations-backed Special Court for Sierra Leone, where I was the chief of investigations, where I lived and worked in Freetown, West Africa, where I was responsible for directing all the criminal investigations, war crimes investigations of those people that bear the greatest responsibility for the civil war in Sierra Leone. Interestingly enough, it took us directly to the former president of Liberia, who created the Revolutionary United Front, who was subsequently indicted and convicted for war crimes. At the time, he was the first sitting head of state ever indicted for war crimes. And again, he was subsequently convicted, sentenced to 50 years, and his son was also arrested and convicted for torture related to one of our witnesses and witnesses of the Special Court for Sierra Leone, not directly but indirectly related, and he received a 97-year sentence in the United States. So have vast experience in seeking justice and accountability in the international rule of law arena. So that's the experience I bring to a particular project that we have, that we're honored to work on behalf of the Ipob, and that was to seek justice and accountability and also engage in a human rights campaign, not only in Washington, D.C., but globally. So that's what we're actively involved in and have been doing since March of this year, when the leader reached out to us and signed an agreement with us, and we've been engaged ever since.
Thank you very much for that in-depth brief. I wouldn't want to go into the Liberia thing and all that because a lot of people already have heard about how you handled it, and history is about to repeat itself. Now, we have been seeing recently, news on different platforms about your organization, filing some kind of document to the ICC, International Criminal Court. So, could you tell us, what is going on? Is there an update from the September filing?
Absolutely. As you know, there's a lot of things that we're doing that are confidential. But what I can share with you was that we have collected evidence and information where we prepared our very first criminal referral to the Office of the Prosecutor at the International Criminal Court on 15 September of this year. And it was a confidential but a very comprehensive compilation of evidence we submitted to them that they acknowledged receipt, and are actively examining that information. And we'd also requested that if they had not opened up an investigation yet, to add this to the preliminary examination. However, we are actively seeking that they seek approval from the pretrial chamber to open an investigation specifically into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, and most notably targeting the indigenous people of Biafra. Now, since that time frame, we have collected additional evidence, and we submitted a second referral containing criminal information and evidence to substantiate further ongoing and wide-scale systematic killing of the civilian population, and again, specifically targeting the IPOB. That was also acknowledged. It's being examined. And again, we are requesting that they formally open an investigation and look into what we are identifying as a genocide that's being committed by the Nigerian government and extremist Fulanis against the indigenous people of Biafra.
Thank you very much. You said it has been acknowledged, and you are waiting for the ICC to open investigation. So, I just want to, for just a clarification, is it that when the application is filed, they have to be after the acknowledgement, they have to now open the investigation for that particular case?
Well, what the process is that they have to seek formal approval from the pretrial chambers to do that. What we are doing is providing them ample evidence to justify that request to open an investigation. And most specifically, looking at the, again, wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, which is a crime against humanity and, quite frankly, genocide that we believe is being committed against indigenous people of Biafra.
All right. So when this thing is filed, is it like something that anybody can ask and get information that, some kind of complaint or application has been lodged at the ICC? Is it something that anybody can ask question and you get some information or some kind of feedback from the ICC?
Well, we have gotten written responses, acknowledgement, as you typically do. And we've also gotten responses directly from the Office of the Prosecutor. And it is a process. And as you can imagine, we collected very sensitive information, and it's confidential. Certainly they have all the details, but it's not something that's publicly and readily available to the public for obvious reasons. We have confidential sources of information and evidence that needs to be protected, but the ICC is well aware of it, and they have that. And it's their obligation to examine and look at that. And we've done that under the protection of the ICC so that sources and witnesses and methods and operations are not inadvertently disclosed or discovered to protect the individuals that are involved.
Yeah. All right. So the last time you were here, and I have also been privileged to see the release from your group. There are some other organizations you have mentioned that that were communicated officially. So could you brief us about them, like for the Committee on Human Rights at the UN and all that? And then also you mentioned about the United Kingdom. Let us take it, step by step. Brief us about the Committee on Human Rights at the UN. What do you intend to get from them?
Absolutely. This is a process, as you know. You have to educate people and make them aware of this. And this is it's a process, and it takes time to do that. So we are familiar with all the organizations that have an interest in jurisdiction in this. So in September, we had written specifically and made a complaint to the Secretary General in hopes that it would be elevated to the Security Council. Simultaneously, we provide a written notice to the High Commissioner for Human Rights for the UN in Geneva and put her on notice, Madame Juria, of the circumstances and information to the extent that we could talk about in the first referral to the ICC. And we also notified the Foreign Office in the UK as well to make sure that they were aware. Now, this month we followed through because unfortunately right now, despite people that indicate that they go and are meeting with people, they are not meeting people in person. So the process is in writing. You can do it in writing, but we also like to do it in person. And unfortunately, the Office of the High Commissioner is not meeting, that entire office is not meeting people in person. So this is the recourse that we have for now. Certainly, when the opportunity presents itself that we can meet in person, we definitely want to follow up. So this second referral we made was a formal written complaint to the Human Rights Council, which is also falls under the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. So that has been done. And what we're seeking is an independent commission of international inquiry where people would be appointed, experts would be appointed to look into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, including the indigenous people of Biafra. So it's separate and distinct from the ICC, but we're reaching out to those entities that have a vested interest to look into this. We also had submitted this again to the Foreign Office, a redacted version of the criminal complaint, which was acknowledged receipt and also forwarded to the appropriate offices in London and also in The Hague. So we are moving forward, we're making progress, and we are reaching out to the people that have direct responsibility to include the U.S. Congress. This actually last month, Congressman Smith, the co-chairman of the U.S. Congressional Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, held hearings and was entitled "The Balance of Human Rights and Counterterrorism." And what has happened, many governments have used the terrorism label to target their opposition. And there's been an abuse of this. And he specifically cites the Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, as being one of those that has pursued his opposition, such as the indigenous people of opposition, and using the prescription of terrorism as a form of repression. So this is a very significant step in the process where we're getting notoriety on this issue, and Nigeria is being brought under the microscope, particularly in the US, with the UN, and even in the UK. So we think we're making progress. And again, this is part of the human rights advocacy campaign and also what the leader wanted us to do, and that was to pursue justice and accountability on behalf of the indigenous people of Biafra. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you very much for this explanation. A lot of people, when you look at the screen, I'm just flashing the first communication to the ICC. A lot of people don't understand the process and the procedure of this ICC. So is it that you have to petition, like here, it says that the BWGG petitioned the ICC expand the Nigeria government crimes to also include international rendition of the regime political opponent, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on this. And there is the British citizens and all that. So is it that when you are filing a petition to the ICC, it is not, it doesn't, of course, can you explain more? Because a lot of people may think that when you file petition to the ICC, you are filing petition to ordinary court. There is, I know at least there is something called the admissibility criteria or admissibility standard of cases in ICC. So could you just a little bit brief tell people what does that mean? You know, when we talk about admissibility standard or admissibility criteria. Thank you.
Absolutely. The International Criminal Court was stood up in 2002 officially, and it's really the court of last resort. And there are signatories, which mean people sign up to allowing the International Criminal Court to seek jurisdiction over crimes against humanity and international violations of humanitarian law under Article 7, which is the Rome Statute that outlines what the criminal statutes are. For example, murder, genocide, torture, all those types of statutes. Nigeria is a signatory to it. So the ICC does have jurisdiction over the government of Nigeria when in fact the government either lacks the will or lacks the capacity to investigate and prosecute those that are involved in crimes against humanity against their own people. So in this case, in 2012, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has the authority to open up a preliminary examination. It's a form of an investigation, but it's not formal. That preliminary examination was closed out on December 11th, or a report was issued on December 11th, 2020. The indication was they were going to seek formal approval from the pretrial chambers of the International Criminal Court to open up a criminal case to look into Boko Haram and also the Nigerian security forces who had committed atrocities. That has not happened yet. So the next step is to continue under Article 15 of the Rome Statute. It allows the prosecutor to receive information from non-governmental organizations or other credible sources, such as our organization, have experience and expertise in these types of matters, to provide information direct to the office of the prosecutor. So what we're doing now is providing them evidence to support a formal request to open up a criminal investigation into the crimes against humanity, and specifically the wide-scale systematic killing of the civilian population, which is genocide, which involves the indigenous people of Biafra. We will continue to provide them information to bolster their request to seek a formal investigation or approval to open up a formal investigation. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to continue to do this, but it must be credible and reliable information. And that's why there's a lot of referrals that go to the ICC and they end up going nowhere because they're not necessarily credible or reliable. In our case, because of our experience and practice, we are providing credible, reliable information and confidential so that they can see where the information is coming from to give it a further credible and reliable evaluation of the evidence that we've submitted. So that's the process. Meanwhile, there are other options we're looking at with the Human Rights Council to open up a formal inquiry, commission of inquiry. That could also bolster activity. And also we could seek UN Security Council sanctions for such action and involvement by the Security Council. So again, it's a process. It's not one size fits all. So we're looking at all the various options. And of course, we specifically highlighted in our September 15th referral the illegal abduction, forced disappearance, which is a crime against humanity, and also torture and the illegal rendition of Mazi Kanu that was between the Kenyan government and the Nigerian intelligence services, where that rendition occurred. And that was back in November or in June 29th of this year. And we were the first ones to go public in early July to announce this to the world that this is in fact was an illegal abduction it was a forced disappearance. There was torture involved, and it was an illegal rendition, which has now come to fruition. So we were the first ones to go public with this to make the world aware of actually what happened. And that is now coming out, as you've seen the recent determination or finding in Kenya, where that in fact had borne fruit. So again, this is a process. This is what we're doing. It doesn't happen overnight, but you have to understand what needs to be done in the process in which to pursue. That's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you very much. And when I look at the second filing, the second filing to this ICC, I noticed that there is this BWGG has fully communicated with the Foreign Office in the United Kingdom regarding both the ICC and the UN filing, and continue to seek increased cooperation from the UK regarding the unlawful rendition of IPOB leader Mazi. Can you give us a little bit more in-depth brief, like in-depth comment? What is it that you are trying to get from the UK Foreign Office? What are we expecting from there, from your experience?
Well, since the leader, Mazi is a British citizen, we have every right as the legal representative for Mazi and on behalf of the IPOB in the United States, and actually as an organization, because he signed the agreement with us, not just in the United States, but globally. So it's our obligation to keep them posted and informed of what we are doing to the extent that we can. So we did, in fact, provide a redacted copy of the referral, which they received and they acknowledged, and it has gone into the human rights section in the UK, and it has been shared with the African desk, and also it's been shared with the appropriate offices in The Hague. So they are taking this very serious, and again, it's our job to inform them. We want to keep them aware of what's going on and keep them engaged in what's going on, so that they can support making sure that justice and accountability is sought on behalf of the IPOB and certainly Mr. Kanu.
Thank you very much. And just for our viewers, I would want to bring this to the screen. One moment. When you look at this, what is on the screen, this is the first communication on the 15th of September 2021 from your organization. This is 15th of September, as you can see, 15th of September, Washington, D.C. Go down to the second page of this document. One moment. There is something here that says, Congressman Chris, ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Africa, submitted stated, genocide is happening right before our eyes. The United States and international community must do more to hit the violence because the dire situation on ground warrant it, and because the people of Nigeria deserve to live in peace and freedom with their fundamental human rights guaranteed. Now, the congressman, related to the congressman's statement. Now, this is from Chris, and this was in September 15, 2021. Now, I'm going to bring another statement. Another statement from Chris, I think in October. Then after that, I will ask you the question I want to ask. So let us go to bring this to the screen. That was what I just read now was in September, and then going forward to October 2021, the same Congressman Smith, now did not only just talked about Nigeria. He did not only talk about and all that going on in Nigeria. He did not only talk about the genocide going on in Nigeria. One moment, I don't know if you can see. Are you seeing anything on the screen?
I am.
You see the document on the screen?
Yes, it's small, but I can read it.
Okay, I have to try to make it more. I think.
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
All right. One moment. All right. So when you look at, what I've just read now, previously from September 15, during when you filed the first application to the ICC, then this is now the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission hearing, counter-terrorism and human rights, striking the right balance. This on Tuesday, October 26, 2021. And this is the remark. And in this particular conference, Congressman Chris made a very remarkable comment where he said, meanwhile, the government has about libeling group agitating for separatism, such as the indigenous people of Biafra or Ipob terrorists, and using this libel to as a justification for repression. Now, this why I'm just. I think I have to read this from the beginning. I have to read this from here, so it will make sense to people who are listening to this broadcast. Now, he said, we also see in Nigeria the selective use of counter-terrorism to attack political opposition. Nigerians on a daily basis witness the impunity which so-called Fulani herdsmen, extremists who share an ethnic and religious ethnicity with President Buhari and the Fulani elect, which now dominate all key institutions in Nigeria, and it is also well stated, dominate all key institutions in Nigeria, attack predominantly Christian villages in the Middle Belt, state security forces which are obligated to protect civilians are at best indifferent or at worst allegedly complicit in the ongoing and sustained attack. Now, before this is what is in your head probably, but I want you to pay a very very emphasis to this particular political opposition, where Chris now said here, attack political opposition. And I remember that in the first document that I showed, which you filed on the 15th of September 2021, this particular statement, the exact word, was in that filing. You may not know this, but I'm just telling you because I've just researched and scrutinized these two documents. I find out that in this particular statement from Chris, he used the exact word that that were in the document he submitted to the ICC. Now, going forward, he continued to say, meanwhile, the government has no qualm about libeling groups agitating for separatism, such as the indigenous people of Biafra or Ipob terrorists, and using this libel as justification for repression. Now, I know a lot of people will be wondering why am I reading this. Why I'm reading this is that I have just connected the statement of Congressman Smith, which he made earlier maybe I think after, that was September or so, and now coming forward to October, he is mentioning IPOB. And so is it that these are part of the job you are doing for the indigenous people of Biafra? Because I see some kind of similarity in the statement coming from Smith and the document submitted to the ICC. And just before people think it is a propaganda, let me go straight to pull that particular first document that your group was submitted to the ICC. So because we are just talking about you file a document to ICC, you communicated the UK office, you communicated the UN Human Rights Office and all that. So is it that there are other organizations, other individuals, powerful people in the United States and around the world that your organization are dealing with in this particular case? To is it as an influencer or as a lobbyist, or what do I call it? So what do you have? Do you want to make comment on this? This may be a very delicate one, but do you want to make comment on this?
No, it's this is part of our experience, is working with people that are interested in these matters and can make a difference. Congressman Smith has been a congressman for 40 years. He has been an advocate of human rights his entire time. He has been one of the staunchest advocates for human rights and seeking justice and accountability for people worldwide, and certainly Africa. And he's been the chairman of the Africa subcommittee for years. So he's very knowledgeable of these issues, and certainly we collaborate with him on these issues. But since we've been engaged, we are known, we are respected, and we are educating them on what's going on in Nigeria. And certainly our client is the indigenous people of Biafra. We care about all people. We care about anybody that is being killed. But right now, our main focus is to make sure that we can reach out to as many organizations and people that have influence in addressing the injustice and making sure that there's justice and accountability for the indigenous people of Biafra. We seek that for everyone, but right now we're seeking justice for what is happening against Mazi and also the indigenous people, in larger part, the indigenous people of Biafra. So it's clear to see when you point this out, this is what's going on. Nobody else is being labeled a terrorist. It took almost 12 years to label Boko Haram as a terrorist organization. Why aren't the Fulani extremists being labeled as a terrorist organization? They are killing people every day, and they have for years. So why all of a sudden it took 3 days to label or prescribe the IPOB as a terrorist organization? Nobody else in the world recognizes them as a terrorist organization. They are in opposition. And when people are getting killed, they resist, they fight back. So that's, if you want to call that a terrorist organization. Let me just say this too. When I dealt with the special rapporteur before she left, she said when she was over in Nigeria, there were human rights violations ongoing throughout the country. It was, where do you start? One thing that she left in my mind, and she indicated to me that the IPOB was one of the largest opposition groups and seemingly effective opposition group in Nigeria. So that's been my judgment and my observation, not just mine, but others, that designation seemed to be more political than it was based in fact, because there are other organizations that are killing people on a daily basis over there. We've seen it, we've documented it, and we've reported it. Amnesty International has documented this. They issued a report in August of this year documenting this. So this isn't just BWGG, but our job is to educate, inform, and seek justice and accountability for the indigenous people of Biafra, and that's what we intend to do, and that's what we are doing.
Thank you very much. And then, also, we saw in Washington time some time ago where the where they wrote something about opinion about indigenous people of Biafra. Because of your comment now reminded me about that particular article about opinion from a university lecturer or professor from one of the university in the United States. And we also noticed that your group intervened. Is it that whenever this kind of thing come up, in order to discharge your duty about defending and representing IPOB and Biafra people, what do you have to tell Biafrans? What happened in that? Because I have a document which you communicated to that university, and I have the document here. So did you receive any communication or anything like that from them?
We immediately contacted the editor. We did not hear back, but we immediately responded in writing, rebutting that. This article that came out, there was what we thought a lot of misinformation. And our job is to provide the facts and the truth, and that's what we do. So when something comes out that is seemingly inaccurate or false, at best misleading, it's our responsibility to respond to that. So we did. And that's exactly what we did in kind. And nobody knows exactly the genesis of that article, but it was very suspect that it came out of nowhere and we didn't get any response back at all. So we think that the article was misleading, it was false. And again, nowhere else does anybody else recognize the IPOB as a terrorist organization. And let me just go one step further. 20 April of this year, the UK Visa and Immigration Office publicly put on their website that they identified that the IPOB as a group of people that were being persecuted and could seek asylum into the UK. Now, under international law, under the Rome Statute, you've heard me mention that before, Article 7, persecution is a crime against humanity. So the British government acknowledged that the IPOB people were being persecuted. They didn't label them a terrorist group. They said they were being persecuted, the IPOB. Now, the Nigerian government responded very forcefully to that, and they took that down off the internet, but it's still out there. And their policy is that anybody has the right to apply for asylum. But my point is that even as of April of this year, they were designated as a group of people, the IPOB, as a group that was being persecuted. So that doesn't sound like a terrorism organization to me. Nobody else. So there was allegations that perhaps somebody was behind that article to try to stop the IPOB and people like our group from being able to support and seek justice and accountability if they were labeled a terrorist organization in the United States. We don't know if that's true or not, but that was something that was brought to our attention. And again, nowhere else that we know of in the world are they identified as a terrorist organization. So that's exactly why Congressman Smith, the co-chairman of a congressionally established Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, where he is the co-chair, highlighted this, specifically the Nigerian government as using the prescription of terrorist organization as a form of repression. And specifically, the reason why IPOB was mentioned, because they're the only opposition group other than Boko Haram, but peaceful opposition group that has been labeled a terrorist organization.
All right. You also, thank you very much for that additional comment there. You mentioned in this your communications to the ICC and then also to the UK Foreign Office, you mentioned about the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Kano. Also mentioned that your organization was the first organization to publicly announce that what happened to Mazi Kano, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, is called the extraordinary rendition. Now, I want to know what is the organization doing so far for the release of Mazi Kano and to make sure that he gets justice?
What we've been doing has been engaging whoever we can, the US government, the UK, because he is a British citizen, to make sure that they are aware that this was an illegal rendition. He was tortured and he was a victim of a forced disappearance. A forced disappearance is meaning that you are illegally detained somewhere. And that's also a crime against humanity under Article 7 of the Rome Statute. And then being illegally renditioned, which has now come out in a Kenya report. I believe you're aware of that. It was recently reported in Kenya that they did not go through the proper process. Anybody is entitled to due process. And the fact that he is also a British citizen, the UK government, we wanted to make sure that they were aware. And again, as his legal representative and authorized representative in the United States to seek justice and accountability and to embark on a human rights advocacy campaign, which we're doing, we felt obligated that they were aware and asked them to do everything they can to intervene in this behalf. And from what we understand, that has been happening. They certainly aren't going to tell us everything, but we can see that there are some things that are moving forward, and we hope that that continues.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alan White. You have quite, addressed most of the questions, and so do we have any kind of time frame? When we should be expecting something, maybe from the ICC, because that's one of the major focus now. Do you from your experience, when do you think we should be expecting something from them?
Well, it would be disingenuous for me to give you a timetable. What I can tell you as a BW Global Group is committed to this process. We will continue that process, and we will do everything within our power to seek justice and accountability for the entire indigenous people of Biafra and also the leader. That's what our agreement is. That's what we do, and that's what we're committed to doing. And as long as we have an agreement with the IPOB, which we do, we will continue this process and work with the authorized representative in his behalf, which is what we're doing actively. And we're going to continue to do this. And we do think we will have success. And we do believe we have the experience in doing this and handling it in a proper way with credible and reliable information. And we will continue to do that. So please stay tuned. We'll continue to report on our activities, and we hope that something will break in the not too far distant future. We can't tell you what that is or when it will be, but we can tell you that we are going to be actively engaged to ensure that justice and accountability comes to the people of IPOB.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being part of this program today. I will be contacting you in the nearest future if the need arises to also, if there is a need to constantly brief Biafrans or update Biafrans of what is going on, because where we are now and what is going on. Our leader is still incarcerated. People are too desperate to know what other groups and all the people we have engaged are doing and all that. So I will be contacting you in the nearest future to also give us an update if there is update as at then. Thank you very much.
I will be delighted to do so, and please keep the faith.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. IPOB. Welcome back. We are fighting this battle from all corners. We are fighting the war all around. Everybody, we are fighting all around the war. And that is why the zoo is shaking. That is why that is why they are scared of this generation of Biafra. That is why they are very, very, very scared of us. That is why entire Biafra has come to realize that the only option to live in this life is to make sure we reject anything Nigeria. Rejecting Nigeria from from the election, rejecting Nigeria from election, rejecting Nigeria, anything Nigeria, rejecting it. And we will continue to reject Nigeria. And we know that what Nigeria has done to our people, you can imagine. In those days, they say, oh, northern Nigeria is having a problem. What is the problem in northern Nigeria? They say they are smoking gum. Gum as drug. They say they are smoking sniper. They are taking sniper. They are taking this. Today, Fulani have succeeded in bringing what they call mpirimiri. Is it mpirimiri or something? In Biafraland. And our people are falling victim. Our people are falling victim. The political leaders, all the people, all the leaders in Biafraland that are giving you hope. We are going to do this. We are going to do that. They are watching you. They are watching you dying. They are watching our youth being destroyed with something called Mkurumiri. I don't know how many of you. I'm going to have a special program on this. I am going to have a special program on drug called Mkurumiri. Let me tell you, Fulani, this is the last stage to destroy you. The last stage to destroy Biafra. Biafra youth. The last stage. Let me tell you people, if you do not sit at home to make sure that this election in Anambra don't hold, you will be destroyed. These people have gone far in destroying us. Do you know that? Let me tell you how they did it. After the Biafra war, they gave you 20 pounds. 20 pounds to go and start your life. And today you are proud. You are saying, oh, Biafra people, we survive with 20 pounds. We are going to survive. It helped us. But then it was a systematic mechanism to destroy us. And it is working. It is working. It has the positive side and it has the negative side. But the negative side is much. No. The negative side is much. The negative side is that they push you into hunting for money. Hunting. Ichuntego. It is only in Biafraland that you have something called Ichuntego. I don't know whether any other nation have anything like that. Hunting for money. Ichuntego. You know how they did it? They succeeded in making sure that in Achuntego, they make sure that now every Biafra man in Achuntego, they did it. So that tomorrow they tell you, Igbo love money. Love money. Biafra love money. It become a symbol of Biafra people. Igbo love money. Today, the people that love money, they are not the most corrupt. They are not the people that have looted Nigeria. They are not the people that their money are being repatriated from Switzerland, from America, from London. Abacha loot is still coming. Abacha, after how many years he left this world, his money is still coming back from Switzerland, from America, from London, from Germany. Everywhere, Abacha money is still coming back. But they were calling you the people that love money because they gave you 20 pounds to shape your future. After shaping your future, today you are hunting for money. Unu bariafa, kaiye chontego. Ewelu $20 and multiply ya into 2. Kachobantego. That intega na china na achobagontega. What did they do? They have come to crush your economy. It is called economic jihad. Economic jihad. As if that is not enough. After Kahana Chuntego, as if that is not enough, after Kahana Chuntego, they are now telling you that we are going to destroy the Biafra economy and we are going to take over their businesses. You watched it. You listened to it. When Yerima Shetima was discussing with Kunle, they say what they can do, what can they do to destroy these people? Indeed. They say Fashola did this, didn't give license to anybody to sell drugs. Now they have succeeded in injecting hunger into Biafraland. It has never been like this before. Apart from the war, we have never this bad. That Yendu Gunaya, the problem that is in the northern Nigeria where the Fulanis are doing everything, the problem of drug is now in East, is now in Biafraland. Our youth are taking drugs. They have rendered you useless. Do you know when I told you people, if you do not join hand now to liberate Biafra people, gone. We are gone. Because the level where you are now, where every youth is smoking mpurumiri, where everybody is taking mpurumiri, the youth, that is what Fulani want. They say, these people have enjoyed life. They are educated. Every time they are going to school. Every time they are inventive. Every time they are innovative. Every time they are doing this. Let us destroy them. Hardship. Economic policy. They bring it upon you. You go to school. You spend 4 years. You spend your mother will do everything. We sell akara to send you to school. After finishing your school, you become liability. Do you know what the Northerners they used to settle their people? Shoe shiner. Shoe shiner. Shoe shiner. Your mother will spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to send you to school. To send you to school. There is no school you are going to go to Nigeria today that you don't spend millions. No school. You are going to live in either boarding school. You are going to live by in your own house, rent your own student apartment. You are going to be feeding. You are going to be buying handouts for those who are in university. You are going to buy clothes. You are going to eat. You are going to chase women. For those that chase women, your mother will be selling one thing or the other to send you to that school. And when you begin to calculate the money, at the end of the day, you are spending millions. And how your mother will get that million, you don't know. Some of you, your father will spend. How your father will get that million, you don't know. It is miracle. It is miracle. Only for you to spend 4 years squandering the money of your parent that they don't have. After Oh my God, please, this guy stop. Say, why are you saying the truth? After you spend the money of your parent, you go to you. They will now send you to youth service to go and give and do the last punishment. After that, you come back. You come back to Biafraland, and you become liability to your people. You become liability to your people. Hello, I know I'm live. Oh. I'm sorry about that. Now, after that, you are going to be liability to your parent. In Angogo, before you know it, they want you to start taking Mporumili. Whatever that means. The thing about Batago, it is no longer Fulani. They have succeeded in frustrating you. They have succeeded. Because what is happening now is something that has never happened before. We must stop it. We are going to stop it. Because it is not in our culture to bring something called Mporumili, whatever that is. Where we hear those kind of stories is in the north. We hear them in the north. Go and look at the documentary of the northern Nigeria